Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis and welcome back to my channel, and today we're doing another book tag, and today's book tag is the Stay Gold book tag created by Mild Rumpus. And I was tagged by Jen at Literary Love 123, so thank you, Jen. And there are 10 prompts, and I do have prepared answers this time, well, for the most part. So let's get started. Number one, oh yeah, by the way, so this book tag is inspired off of The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. So if you have not read The Outsiders, you really should. I feel like it's kind of a requirement in schools around 7th grade or so. At least that's when I read it, and I've heard most others read it around the same time. So great book and great author. Alright, so number one, Ponyboy Curtis. Share some booktubers who have been especially supportive of your channel. Okay, so there have been a lot. I'm not going to name everybody because I feel like we would be here for a while, and knowing me, I'd probably end up forgetting somebody, so there will be a bunch of people tagged down below, mostly because of the 10th prompt, so spoiler alert, I'm not going to be directly tagging anybody to do this, but we'll get to that when we get there. So I'm just going to name off a few, and there will be the and more, so that'll cover everybody else. But the few I'm going to throw out there is The Secret of Nim, Dark Violet Dreams, Bad as Rad 2, Chris Reviews, author Deal Tillery, and more. So that's just a small snippet, but there are lots more out there, and I'm not meaning to not include anybody. Number two, I have things in both hands. Darrel Darry Curtis. Share a channel that has inspired or somehow influenced your channel. This one's really easy. And the channel is Regina's Haunted Library. Now, really quick, I guess we're going to get a little bit of story, but I'm going to be as quick as I can. So, before I even started this channel, a friend and coworker of mine had said, hey, you should start a BookTube. You should start, not a BookTube, I didn't even know what BookTube was at the time. You should start a YouTube channel and talk about movies or books or both, because I like talking about those things. And I was like, I didn't know. I was like, well, maybe, and I just like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I took it under consideration. Shortly thereafter, I discovered BookTube. And how did I discover BookTube? I was actually looking up on YouTube things, gothic books, gothic literature, and I stumbled upon Regina's Haunted Library. So more or less, she was the first BookTube channel I ever watched. And watching her channel, it just inspired me to give it the go-ahead and start this channel. So I owe a lot to her, actually, and she's a really good friend and an awesome person. So if you are not subscribed to her channel, please check out her channel, like her videos, subscribe, comment, all that awesome stuff. Alright, I gotta reopen my phone because it closed. Alright, number 3 is Sodapop Curtis. Share a BookTube channel that makes you laugh and brings you joy. Alright, this one's an easy one. I don't even know why I looked at my list. Bad as Rad 2. She oftentimes makes you laugh with her shorts and some of her videos. She's very creative. She's an artist. She does all kinds of cool videos, especially her ghost tours, and she did one recently at a spooky hotel in Texas. So yeah, definitely check out her channel, and especially those ghostly videos. But she reads all kinds of fun books, and extreme horror especially. For Keith Two-Bit Mathews, recommend some new to you BookTube channels that you enjoy watching. Alright, one of these I already mentioned, Jen at Literary Love 123, and also Spooky Little Book Nerd. They're still fairly new to me. I mean, they've been on my radar since earlier this year, and potentially very late last calendar year. But yeah, they're great channels. Do check them out. 5. Dally Winston. What was something that you initially found tough as a BookTube newbie. Share how you overcame it. And, oh, I did kind of write down a note. So I wrote down is getting into the groove. Finding, I guess, your rhythm with it, your style. And I just kind of played around with it because if you look back on my really early videos, I personally find them kind of cringy because the style is completely different. Also, they're more portrait style as opposed to landscape style. And I think it just took me a bit to figure that. But, just take your time, figure out what works for you. And I feel like I'm giving you advice instead of saying how I overcame it. That's how I overcame it. I just kind of, tried things out till I found what worked best for me. And this I feel like is going to tie into a later prompt. 6. Steve Randall, what is your favorite video on your channel? So my current one would probably be my Pax's Little Library of Horrors video, because that one's, it's really, a very special one, and it was kind of a hard one to also do because it was paying tribute to our friend Pax Panic, about a year since we had lost her. But it's a very heartfelt video and really special, so it's definitely my current favorite. Number 7, Sherri Cherry Valance. Share a channel that you enjoy watching outside of BookTube. Now, there are a few channels that I really enjoy watching outside of BookTube. Some of them I haven't watched as much, and this one I haven't watched for a while, but it would be Romancing the Gothic with Dr. Sam Hurst. Now, she's not always the one that's leading the videos, because sometimes she has guests on there to lecture or whatnot. But she covers Gothic literature and stuff, and actually, it was the first video from her channel that I saw was actually the one with Lori A. Page, who wrote the Gothic Romance Wave. And I'd seen that book about, but that was actually how I got introduced to the channel, and I love that video. And sometimes if I don't know what I want to listen to, and I'm able to listen to stuff at work because I'm in the back and stuff, and working on something, and I don't know what I want to listen to, have my mind work on something in the background, I will actually pop that video in and I'll listen to it. So I have listened to that video actually a lot. But yeah, I definitely enjoy her channel. And the last video that I saw on there, I actually forgot to comment on. I need to go back and comment on it. And I need to listen to some more of the Byron. She's been doing a series of Byron poetry videos, and I think I've missed the last one. Maybe there's even been a few that have come out since, but I need to go back in and pick up on some of those videos. Number 8 is Johnny Cade. Discuss the effect that BookTube has had on you as a reader. So I feel like BookTube has definitely influenced my reading, because before I was ever on BookTube, I just kind of read whatever, whenever. I feel like in some ways I kind of strategically plan around what I'm going to read. I've kind of dropped back off that just a little bit recently because of I've been putting myself under a lot of pressure and I don't want to do that. But an example of like the influence of the reading is like when Halloween's coming up, although usually I probably would, if I wanted to read something around that time, I'd read something spooky. But I'll read something spooky that I can do videos on. Or Christmas in July coming up, I might read something holiday-ish. Now, speaking on the holiday-ish, when we get to the holiday season, usually I wouldn't read really anything holiday-ish except for when I read and reread A Christmas Carol a few years back. Last year, I decided to go ahead and embrace it and read some holiday spooky-ish or of the Gothic persuasion even stuff. And this year, I think I'm going to do that again. So I guess, BookTube has definitely influenced my reading, because I do somewhat pick out things that I can do videos on. And before, I would just more or less just read at random, or just on the few occasions just consume something, like when I was in high school and I was reading the Marilyn Ross Dark Shadows books, because I read like, how many of those straight? like 11. Oh, not all of those were Marilyn Ross's. Sorry, not hers. The first one was a Laura Parker book, but I read like 11 Dark Shadows books straight. 10 Marilyn Ross and the one, my first Laura Parker. So, oh no, I read another one too. No, I read like 12 books straight because I read Dreams of the Dark too. So, yeah, it has definitely changed my reading. Alright, number 9. Sunsets. Share a piece of advice / wisdom. So, I guess this is kind of 2 bits to it. So, I would say, I'm guessing I'm assuming it has to do with BookTube, so I'm going to go with BookTube. So, if you are a BookTuber, and I guess this can kind of even work for non-BookTubers too, be yourself. I know that's kind of obvious, but sometimes we really need to hear those things. But yeah, be yourself and find what works for you. Don't let somebody tell you how to do something, like especially BookTube wise. Don't let someone tell you how you can do your videos, because you can do your videos however you want to, however it works for you. As long as it doesn't go against the community guidelines of YouTube and it's nothing illegal. Yeah, because sky's the limit. You can do it, however you want. If you don't have the technology, find creative ways. Like, I don't have the best technology for my videos, but I do what I can, and I do it my way. So, be yourself and do things the way they work best for you and your situation. Alright, I believe we're down to number 10, which is stay gold. Tag others. I already said that I'm not going to be tagging I'm not going to be saying any names specifically. There's going to be a bunch of names tagged down below. So if you are tagged in this video, and even if you're not, and you still want to do this video, please feel free to do it. And yeah, go ahead and tag me in it so I can hear your answers, because I'd be very interested in what you have to say. Anyway, that's my video for today. Stay safe, stay spooky, and until next time, bye-bye.